I met him 15 years ago, I was told there's nothing left.
Warning. It's only a movie. I spit on your grave. Kill them all. There's things out there. You got special work to do here, you and me.
Much too public display of power, Paris.
Whatever I have resurrected through this book is sure to come calling for me.
What's up, everyone? Happy Thursday. It's Friday Eve. Hope everyone is doing good tonight. And for some of you other states that are in the cold, that maybe it's starting to warm up a little bit for you guys, I feel your pain. I enjoyed my sun today. I mean, the sun, not my son, but you know. Is it still cold up there?
Yeah, actually, it is finally getting a little warmer. Not that it's warm, but bro, even a few degrees feels like summer compared to what that cold front we got last weekend or the weekend before. Oh, Jesus Christ, bro! I told someone this before, but I think on a personal level, this was probably the coldest night I've ever experienced in my life. I almost caught frostbite in my fingers just trying to throw the garbage out, bro. It was rough, but it's over. I'm glad. No more of this shit.
Because we had that bit of a cold also, and they're saying,
mind you, this guy lives in Florida. He's complaining about the cold.
Hold on, but remember, I think ours with the wind chill, we were at 13 or something like that. Like a lot of my plants died because of this cold weather.
Did you find any frozen lizards? They're alive. They're not dead. But
no, that's further
no iguanas.
South. Yeah, that's cool. You got to find them further south.
Hello, Mama Rose. Good evening, fam. Good evening to you as well, Mama Rose. Always a pleasure. All right, Chucky's back. I like them, but probably just look at Madeline the whole time. I'm assuming. Oh yeah, Madeline Pest. Is that her name, Joe? You know her.
Yep.
Yeah, she reminds me of this wrestler Scarlett. Oh Jesus Christ, her name is Scarlett, but I forgot. Jesus Christ, I forgot. She don't go by her last name much anymore, so I forgot. Anyway, she's with Karrion Kross. If you're a wrestling fan, you know who I'm talking about. But facial features looks just like Scarlett to me, so I kept seeing her whenever I saw her on screen, you know.
Well, did she remind me? I think her name
Scarlett Bordeaux. That was her name. I'm sorry.
I know who that is.
Yeah. Yeah, my man Chucky. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, maybe now she does, but when she was in WWE, they kind of yanked her last name, so she hasn't gone by that for a few years for me. But yep, good look on that, Chucky. What's up, son?
Well, and thank you for joining us. I know we just ended up just jumping right in, not even
That's
saying
all right.
who we are. I know. Well, I'm Joe. If this is your first time, and if you're going to be watching our channel a little bit more often, you'll be seeing some stuff where we're the Beer Brothers on some Sunday night stuff. But yes, my beer brother
Speaking
Ricky.
Salute, brother. Another episode here.
Oh yeah. Of course. So yes, if you're joining us, this is it. We are wrapping up Renny Harlin's The Strangers with Chapter 3. As somebody said, Madeline Petch is as Maya, Gabriel Basso as the Scarecrow Gregory, and Richard Brake as Sheriff Howard.
My man, I love Richard Brake.
I'm the one that I think I had seen the original Strangers, and I kept once we started doing this channel, I kept asking you never had seen it. I'm like, you got to check this movie out.
That's right.
And you
put
finally
me onto it. Yeah,
I pushed you on it. I would not pushed you, but I was like, dude, you have to check this out. I mean, I did an episode for movies that fucked me up about it, because it's if you're ever home alone, it delivers one of the scariest lines, in horror, and which I'll touch on it at the end. They tried to do with this one, it just didn't land the way that the other one did. But I came home. What's up, Adam? I came home and I typed up some notes real quick. I wanted to get out what I felt at that moment. And then I took a little time to think about it. And then was a little bit change of heart. So I want to say that I knew I was going to get really pissed off throughout this movie when Maya got in the fucking sheriff's car, drove off, and is searching for I don't know what the fuck, and then crashed into a tree. I'm like,
what did that remind you of?
What?
That reminded me of
Creep Show.
Lori from
Two?
The Walking
Oh,
Dead, man, when she just gets into a car to look for, Rick and them, and she just
oh,
crashes. I'm like,
I mean,
once I saw her get in the car and she's fumbling around in the passenger side, I'm like, she's gonna crash the car. Jesus
and
Christ.
it annoyed me when I saw that. I'm like, she had the chance to. I mean, or else she wouldn't have gotten the movie. But still, I thought that holy shit, you couldn't possibly, get any worse. And I was not happy with a lot of the fucking choices that were made in this movie. Um, sorry, I looked over to the side and saw what he said. Yeah, she should not get behind a car.
Well, let's pop it up. Let's pop it
Yeah.
up. Now that we're talking about it, Chucky says, didn't she crash a car in all three movies? I'll be honest. I know Joe went back and saw the previous two. I did not.
So I'm gonna
But
say yes. And the second one she did. I'm trying to think on the.
that's right, because it was in the ambulance, right? The
The
EMT
ambulance,
when
yeah.
the pinup girl
Was in
popped
there.
up behind her, right? Yeah, yeah. You're right, man. You're right, Chucky. Dang, bro.
But yeah, she should
That's
not be
that's
behind the
some
wheel.
lazy writing. I can't stand whenever I see shit like that, bro. God dang.
But yeah, for me was stretching. All right, the original Strangers didn't have, and it's no shade on this, it didn't have a big script. A lot of the movie itself was just based on them trying to survive, basically the strangers. So to stretch it out into 3 movies, when we were done, I was frustrated. And then I watched part 1 and 2 last night. And then I was like, all right, I was probably a bit frustrated because if I forget, it was going to start off right where it left off. So when it started off, I'm like, well, where the fuck are we right now?
Yeah.
I should have watched it.
They got you.
Yeah, I should have watched it. My thing is that what I felt is that what made the strangers scary was you didn't know who they were. It was just 3 random masked killers. By giving the backstory and finally closing off more of the backstory in here, you took away what the allure was about the strangers by giving them a backstory, giving them a revelation who they were. So I didn't hate the movie because once I saw the movie last night and I put them all together, I still somewhat appreciate some of it. But I think just for me, taking the masks off the strangers is where, like, just as a whole, kind of the movie, it was too much added into there, and wrapping it up, and it was just, yeah, I kind of wasn't happy on that. I still feel the same way. I was frustrated because of all the fucking stupid decisions, and the worst part is it's a trilogy. So this is a whole entire 2 days of really dumb decisions, which I'll touch on that also later. However, but that was my whole thing, though. It was just, it started going weird. I was like, what is going on here with these two? Is this going to happen? I don't want to say everything on it, but that's my one thing is because I just feel that having taken the mask off of them is kind of where it just turned into a whole different story. It wasn't really about the strangers. It was now about the killers, who the killers were themselves, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does make sense. It's weird because a little bit into this movie, I was actually, I guess, to be honest, I was maybe trying to convince myself that this was actually better than the first two. And I was like, man, okay, you know what? I'm feeling better about it. I'm feeling better. But then by the last 30 minutes, I was like, oh no, they're going down this route, and it completely shit the bed in my opinion. And a major thing too, like you mentioned, they stripped away the ambiguity of the 3 characters, or 3 titular characters that are the strangers. Once, like you said, once they stripped that away and removed that question, that doubt, that mystery, now we know who they are, we know what they look like, and at this point I'm like, what are we doing here, guys? The whole point, like you mentioned about the first film, that it was just a simple concept: 3 people putting on masks and going to a random person's house, like this said. Why are you doing this? Because you were home. And that was all you needed. And they used that line at the end, you were sold on the whole movie. I mean, you know what? Everything clicked out. It's a random act of violence.
Yep.
And this movie, I don't know what they were trying to go for by stripping away all the ambiguity about the characters, the mystery? And are they trying to tell us that they made it a point to say that they only kill people out of town, people that are not native to Venus?
Correct.
So the titles, The Strangers, are we talking about the 3 characters now under the hoods, or the strangers meaning strangers to the town of Venus now?
Yes.
Is that what we're going for here? So now it's not about the actual characters, it's about who they're targeting and why they're targeting. The whole point was, I don't care why. The reason why the first movie worked is because why they targeted you, because you were home. It was a random act of violence that occurs all the time. Most of it goes unnoticed or swept under the rug in real life. So yeah, they took that out, and that was a big disappointment. And another thing too, you spent 3 movies with the character of Maya, and to me this character just was not interesting. Pretty girl, but no charisma to me. She was just flat, especially near the end when they kill her sister, and no emotion. And by the end of the film, what now? She's the big bad now. Like what? Remember, this takes place within a couple days. Putting all 3 movies together, mind you.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's gonna go from a regular person to the stone cold killer within like a course of a couple nights or a weekend. I just don't buy it. And we've seen that so many times and done better. So by the end of the movie, I was like, once when they got to the scene where they play, I think it was Heart, Crazy on You. Is that about Heart?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? This reminds me kind of like a Rob Zombie type. I love when they use music that integrates within the scene itself. I'm like, if this movie ended here, I'll be happy, honestly. But no, then they introduced the subplot with the sister and her husband Howard, and they got their guy Marcus, their driver, who's also their security, who was a fucking idiot too. And once they introduced that whole like subplot that led us towards the climax, and that's when Maya became this stone cold it lost me, bro. That was completely checked out. I'm like, what are we doing here? What's the direction they're going for, and what is their goal that they want to make a trilogy out of this? And the scary part was, it was never originally 3 separate movies. They wanted to put all 3 movies in one sitting with an intermission in the theater. God dag, imagine how that would have been.
That is still planned on doing.
No
I don't know if they're really going to actually go through with it, but and that's like when you find out that the sheriff is.
I'm sorry, 1 second. I know when I saw her do it in the 3rd, and I was like, not again, man. What the fuck? This is in regards to her crashing the car.
Yeah.
What, dude? We've seen that so many times. A random person, not random, but randomly just crash. I'm pretty certain this Maya character never got into an accident in her life, and this is the one time she's got to be. Well, I don't know what she was looking for. I don't know, man.
Three in a row. I mean, and you know how fucking injured, or her insides must, she's got to have some broken ribs easily.
Adam says, that's what continues to scare me, because you were home. I know I'm never answering the door again. No, and then we find out about the whole Tamara thing.
Well, that's like what was, because the sheriff, it seemed like the town, well, actually the whole town was in on it. His son is, Scarecrow. And the deal is they would not harm any of the town folk and only kill strangers. And when I watched it again last night and saw it more continuous and seeing that, yes, you meet the strangers right in the beginning, which we all had guessed that when we reviewed the first one, that they were in there. And when you rewatch it, you know who they are. You're like, one of the girls even says, you never know, the killer could be right in front of your face to the cop. But
it was that guy the whole time, Gregory, who was sitting next to her looking like, remember the second movie? He's like,
just staring at her,
that weird like fisheye lens or whatever. I'm like, okay, there's no way he's the killer. They're just not gonna put him, this regular guy. And mind you, when he's as Scarecrow dressed up he looks like a big hulking motherfucker. Yeah. As Gregory, he's a regular dude, like not imposing at all. Oh man.
And that's why you had the fucking cop then starts killing people himself. I was like, this fucking movie is just all over the place. Yeah. It's just like at this point, like I literally felt they were like, all right, we're gonna throw a couple of sub things in here. You know, maybe we're gonna give you the pretense that Maya and Gabriel are not gonna be the couple because he killed his girl, so now she's gonna be taking his place. And when rewatching it, it looked like he was stalking her, and kind of was infatuated with her. And then you got Dad
she was the only one that survived them. That's why.
Well, but when you see
Unless
when I
I'm wrong.
rewatched the first one, no, he said that you're the first one. But when you watch the first one, like the shower scene where he's just standing there, it gave more of, instead of it being scary, more of like he was actually like checking her out. Like
good show.
He was looking at her. He wanted her. So then I'm in my head going, all right, so maybe she survived because Gabriel wanted her. I mean, they brought in the third girl because they were going to kill her. And then they walk in and she killed her boyfriend because he was hitting on, I think Shelly is.
Shelly's a real name, yeah.
Hitting on Shelly, who's a child, mind you. It was, and they seemed to be a little bit older. So these two kids manipulate someone who's at least 4 years older than them, definitely, to all them becoming killers. So was she now going to take her, Shelly's place? Was that Gabe? So I'm like you put too much ideas out there to try to have a cohesive thought throughout this whole thing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Scarecrow, he was great until he wasn't. Until you knew he was Gregory. It just took all his mystique away, gone in an instant. At least to me. And I didn't like that. And then again, you mentioned like the cop. He was the sheriff. He was protecting his son. And that kind of reminded me of George Romero's Martin. The same deal where Martin is staying with his cousin and Martin kills someone in town, and the cousin tells him, this overly religious guy is like, listen, I know what you are. I know what you do. Do not take anyone else from the town. That's it. You're gonna kill outsiders. So it reminded me of that, and that it was done so much better in that context. Because here, in that movie, at least Martin tried to not kill anyone in town and innocent. In this movie, that was a passing line. Because the next scene you see, this motherfucker just kills some random guy in the woods. I'm like, wait a minute, between that and adding her sister and her husband looking for her, what a complete waste of time that was. If they would have added some great kills with those two characters, okay, now maybe they were introduced just for a body count. But Howard was killed off screen, and then her sister was just stabbed.
Yeah, actually.
And again, Maya didn't even sell it. The actress did not sell it. So what was the point? Dude, if someone kills a family member right in front of you, bro, what are you gonna do? She was
sitting there
in a little tear, maybe. But what the fuck?
Well, Adam's she was in shock. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. At
this point she was.
She was tied up, and like I get the whole shock part, but with that little story or that subplot we got. All right, if I hired somebody to help protect me, and you're gonna drive me to a fucking empty trailer in the middle of the woods and tell me I'm gonna leave you here, this is safe, I'm gonna go, yeah, so you've not watched many horror movies. I'm not staying in here. I'm staying with you. You got a gun. Oh, you're gonna give me a gun, but you're gonna leave me in here, and then like
back against the wall too. Oh,
and then the whatever he is, gets the better of him, and I'm just like what the fuck? Like, so these people were just thrown in here to give, a more body count into the movie itself, and ridiculously, because as you said, he gets killed off, and then when the sister comes out, and I'm sitting there going, all right, where are we going here? I'm like, she really gonna fucking just sit here? Just like, if I see any of my siblings, I love all my siblings, if we sometimes argue, even if I had been an argument with them and we're in a situation like that, I'm going to try to get out, or at that point, after you let me go, I'm going to kill you because you just killed my sibling.
Yeah. I could see not wanting to jump out the car because you don't want to make a sudden move and he's just going to kill her. But I would be freaking out. I wanted her. I mean, I just don't know, man, because she was so like docile, man. I'm like, bro. I'm like, your sister is right in front of you, about to get killed, and you're treating her like you don't even recognize her. I don't know, man. That was, to me, that was a mess. That was a complete mess. It's just the Maya character. Again, I believe I had mentioned this in the prior reviews too. Her and her boyfriend, the two main characters in the first movie, not interesting. Liv Tyler and who was the other actor? He always escapes me.
Scott Speedman.
Scott Speedman. Great chemistry between them two. They were very likable, down to earth. You could relate to them. And these characters here, they came in. They were big city folks, already rubbing the locals the wrong way. So again, you're getting annoyed off the bat with them. And then they take you on this ride with this one character through 3 movies, bro. And nothing was redeemable in my opinion. And to be honest with you, the storyline that they had in there where she kills Pinup Doll, and now they're trying to force her now to take her place. They could have made something out of that. You know what? That could work if done right. That can work, because we have Dollface, which we saw who she was in the past, but never spoke, never took off the mat, nothing when she's an adult. I thought that was honestly, I thought that was like a teenage boy at first. For the previous 2 movies,
Yeah.
I don't know.
When you look back, especially with having the hair in the whatever the
what's possible,
beanie or
it's gonna cut it. They never showed her hair because
No.
it looks, and obviously in the credits, I looked it up. It was a different actor. You picked a different actress for the current version. In the flashback, it was a younger actress that they had. You might as well kept the same person. The person never grew. It looked like a kid, like a teenager, especially in the beginning when they killed Claire. I don't know, man. What pisses me off the most is the Strangers as a franchise. The first movie, to me, very underrated to this day. I don't think people appreciate it enough. And even the second one, what was it? Pray at Night.
Pray at Night.
What, Christina Hendricks was that?
Christina Hendricks.
Very good, passable. It's
guy,
enjoyable. Not as good as the first, but again, it's hard to top that. But it respected the source material at least. And then they want to restart the whole franchise, and they give us the first movie all over again, just nowhere near as good. And then they take the bite out of Halloween 2 when it starts in the hospital. That could have been great, and there was good moments in that scene, especially when the Gregory as Scarecrow was in there. He kills the orderly. That's all good stuff. But then once they introduce all the other characters, and then you spend all this, and then Maya kills a fucking boar on her own. That boar would have. I still say it to this day. That boar would have wrecked her. And then she's got all these cuts all over her, and she's not even selling it. I would be like, oh, my face is on fire. Jesus. Dude, I got little cuts, and they fucking burn. They sting. And yes, she's worried about her arm, a little spray in her wrist. But her face is all chopped up, and she don't feel it. I don't know, man. It's everything. When a movie is bad to me, little things like that stick out more and annoy me. That's the problem.
All right, so let's go ahead and wrap up what we thought on the Strangers, because after that, I'm gonna add, might as well just discuss the whole rate the whole trilogy as a whole. So all right, so for me, again, the backstory part, well, I didn't hate it. All right, it just, for me, it would have fit better in another movie. Not making the Strangers being that the little kids off the bat were killers, and dad, covered up for his son. So then the other one, because I think Shelley then was in a hospital, I guess, because she had killed a little girl. But the other part, like the whole fucking town, everybody's just gonna be okay with this shit. Like, this one, it's a 2.5 for me. Honestly, it was gonna go a little bit lower had I not watched I actually had it at a 1.5, but since I did watch the other 2 last night, I boosted up the score a little bit more for some of the things I liked. But for this one itself, the chapter 3, it's a 2.5.
That's fair. You knew this movie was gonna be what it was because it had zero promotion. I mean, the studio gave up. They were like, "Oh, these movies are not doing well. No one cares." And this chapter 3 went through multiple reshoots. So before I do mine, let me head up these. Selena V, my Two-Face. What's up, Selena?
Hey, Selena.
Hello, everyone. Appreciate you. The only complaint I had about this movie is how it ended. I'm not going to go into details not to spoil it for everyone else. We already
We
did,
already
but-
spoiled it. You could have said
yeah,
what
we're
you didn't like.
Hey, Beer Brothers, the fourth corner. Lexi, what's up? Hope you're feeling better. Miss y'all. Miss you too. Chucky's back. They really dropped the ball with not pushing the black security guard through the grinder. Instead, the sheriff just shoots him. I thought he was gonna toss him in. He must have, right? I'm assuming after off screen because that's just to hide the evidence.
Well, I mean,
Why
I
else
don't know.
would-
He
Everyone they killed, they always threw in the back of the truck and brought back to the sawmill.
Oh, so he brought the cop to the sawmill to grind him up. His deputy.
He brought the deputy. Yes, the
Yeah.
second time. Yeah. All right. We got Jr. What's up, fellas? Popping into support. What up, Jr. I hope everything is good with you, brother. Shouldn't have just been one film over 3. Yeah, one film,
Yeah.
completely original. Don't try and remake it. You can't top the first one. Don't do that. If you're gonna go back bro, what pisses me off too, brother. When we complain about this, we always complain, oh my god, they should have left it alone. The original's a classic, blah, blah, blah. What are these filmmakers doing? This is the same guy that did the original, Renny Harlin, right? He did the original. Who? No way. You're kidding.
The producer.
Who directed the first one?
Brian.
Okay. All right.
Brian-
Well,
Bertino. Brian. Hold on.
I don't worry about it. That's fine. All right. Good. That's better then, because I kind of that was getting me.
No.
tight, man.
No. It was.
I thought Renny Harlin just went to redo his own series again.
No.
Ouch.
Nice score.
So this score, yeah, I'm a. See, oh man, for me, I want to review it this way, right? Adam says, "Yeah, that security guard wasn't very good." Yeah, the guy says, the sheriff goes to him, "Put your gun down,"
Yeah.
and he's like, "Okay, pop, pop."
Yeah, it is Brian Bertino.
Awesome. Okay. So Renny Harlin had nothing to do with the original at all,
No.
or he wrote it.
No.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Oh,
Brian
shit.
Bertino wrote and directed the first one, or the original.
So,
and
okay.
when Renny obviously went to him, they took, I think for the first one they used Brian's script, and then the
Right.
other ones were more Renny.
Okay, that makes now. All right, that's a little bit of a relief. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because if it's the same guy fucking up his own works, that's like worse than what George Lucas did, in my opinion. At least I enjoyed the prequels for what they were. But this movie, I'm going with you. It's a 2.5, but that's relative to the entire trilogy. I forgot what I gave the other two, honestly. I know that it wasn't very high. But now that the third one's out and I could put them all in one retrospective thought, I did not enjoy this trilogy at all. This movie had potential. Like I said, I started it like, okay, there's something here. I'm enjoying it more than I did the first two. But then it went completely off the rails. So I'm gonna give it a 2.5 as well because I think it's a good. The film is well made. It don't feel cheap. They
No.
picked some pretty good music for the soundtrack. The score was pretty good. The acting, again, it was a mixed bag. I love Richard Brake. He's such a creep in everything he does. I don't think that guy's ever been a good guy, and I
No.
love him for it. I think he was probably the highlight of the movie for me, quite honestly. And not just this, but the previous two. I like how they kind of gave you the breadcrumbs about what was up with him and his deputy. And we got the revelation here, but it's something I think everyone probably guessed it. You know, all right, he's related. That's his kid or something. He was connected somehow.
Yeah.
But I did like Gregory. As a character, again, I wasn't into that character at all. As Scarecrow, I loved him as Scarecrow because he was imposing, cool look, and he fucked you up. But what I don't like is he chopped people 10, 11, 12 times, bro. Bah, bah. Then when when the camera goes back and shows you the body, they're not even chopped up. I do. What are you cutting? What are you slashing into? All you
That
see is
is
a
not-
body with a little bit of blood. Bro, the way that's a big guy. The way he's chopping into you, it should be in chunks. I hate when movies do that. Urgh. Yeah, man, this movie sucked. Just gonna
right.
be honest, bro.
So for me now, as far as the whole trilogy, because
Yeah,
I
let's
watched
do
it
that.
last night, and I did notice in the first one some of the subtle changes they did try to make, like I think and with the original, when Scott Speedman accidentally shot his friend, it just hit harder than when, you know, the I can't remember the boyfriend's character, but when he shot the guy who owned the house, who was there to check on the refrigerator.
Oh yeah, they thought he was a peeping Tom, wasn't he?
Yeah, no,
What's a different movie.
no, he was.
Oh, that's hold on.
They called
that's
him
the rental. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, no, in this one they had called him because the refrigerator wasn't working. So the guy showed up, and then the boyfriend accidentally shot him because she goes, he's not wearing a mask. But then as I watched, I sat there and watched them both one after the other, and it just kept hitting hard. Just how many fucking stupid mistakes just kept happening over and over, and I was just all right, now that I have the whole thing kind of all put together, as a whole, I'll give it a 3 because some of the kills were cool. Even when when they showed the little kids doing the killing, I thought that was all right, maybe not so great, but it fit into the whole narrative of the trilogy. So yeah, I'd give the whole entire thing a 3.
I'm gonna stick with a 2.5 for the whole thing. It's a waste. There's no redeeming qualities about this movie. There really isn't. Now, if you're trying to build the character of Maya to kind of take over the mantle of these 3 killers, what is her reasoning? What Gregory keeps saying, I pulled it out of you or whatever. But why? I don't understand what.
Well, actually, keep going. Wait, how you're going? How would you have made it different?
I would have made it. First of all, I would have never showed you the 3 who they are. I would have always kept it ambiguous. I would have introduced. Now, I would never have tried to remake the original. I wouldn't have done that. But I would have probably done, honestly. I'm not saying it's gonna work, but at least I would have floated the idea to actual people who could make it work. Instead of just doing the same thing, people rent a cabin or Airbnb, or they got their own little house. I would do what Evil Dead Rise did and do a complete different setting change. I would make it go into the projects, go to the ghetto, go to an apartment complex, go to somewhere that's switch it up, give us a different feel altogether. Forget the cabin in the woods type of thing. That's been done to death. We don't get a lot of urban horror films like that. That's why I know a lot of people didn't like it in Evil Dead Rise, but the fact that it was people within in a confined apartment complex,
yeah,
a lot of people
Demons.
relate to that. How many people could relate to staying in a cabin? Not a lot. We relate to it through film most of the time, I'm not saying we never
3 cabins maybe. Well, one of them wasn't even a real cabin. It was like a fucking mansion. So it didn't even count. I mean, it was just more rooms.
Listen,
to
bro,
hide, but
if you got power, that's not real camping, bro. It's not. If you got Wi-Fi in that cabin, that ain't real camping.
We have power.
No, that's not what I'm talking about, bro. But I would completely switch it up if I had to remake this movie now, and it wouldn't be about the characters' backgrounds at all, and I would just keep it simple. People go to movies. How many Friday the 13th movies are there? There's no plot in those movies. I mean, you follow Jason's progression because he starts off as a child in the first movie, and every time a movie comes, he gets more fucked up and more fucked up until he's literally a zombie, and he's in fucking space. The Friday the 13th series, a lot of people don't realize it's a character progression of Jason. What happens to Jason in one film carries over to the next, whether he's burned, he's drowned, he dies, he comes back. Now he's a corpse, now he's rotting. The more the series goes, people don't realize that. So there's, at least there is consistency, So I would try and do something completely different. I wouldn't just do the same, boom, 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 Tamara home, all right, you could keep that concept, but switch it up. Do something where, something that's not touched upon as much. Remember Basket Case? You did that took place in the most seediest of this of complexes in rundown New York City somewhere, bro. It felt dirty. It felt grungy, and oh my god, bro, that's different. You don't get a lot of that. So we got too many of these cabin in the woods or Airbnbs. That's the main thing now because that's what that's modern. People could relate to that now. I understand, but that's how I would switch it. How about you?
See, I started thinking about it, and I would like to somehow still keep the whole feeling of the isolation when they come for you. With the city part, it does leave the chance of you running out. You can have the neighbor, but then how can you do the isolation and then also have like a bunch of people?
Well, set it during the pandemic where everyone's.
Well, so for me, I had thought, you have a lot of developments that are going up, new developments. Well, once only sections are done, some of the early buyers get to move in early. So, you have a development where there's just basically just only a couple families have now moved in. Let's say there's like 50 homes in this place. There's only like 3 families there. And then that because you would take it out of the cabin itself. Yes, you're putting it in a house still, but you're putting it in a urban, a rural area. You have other homes, but just because you are now in your home, the other person that lives close to you is a couple of blocks away in this development. So it's almost like the killers found like the easiest target to find, the first movers into a development. Nobody's kind of done that. It's a little, again, it kind of with you what you were going with, but I would just, because with yours you still have a lot of neighbors. I would do it in the same sort of setting with less neighbors, and
it kills the point.
My friends had gotten there's this beautiful place down there's San Antonio, Florida, believe it or not, but
I got it.
The other place that they had lived in before, we went to go visit them when it was first starting. It was fucking creepy because they were the only ones living there. All their houses all around, some of them were done, but there was nobody living there. And so even though we were in a gated community, when you went outside and you still felt so alone because there's 30 houses around you and we're the only ones there. And that's where I came up with the idea.
Just gave me an idea. Hold on one second. JR says they pulled the film from a start time on Thursday. You were saying that JR had bought a ticket.
It's not a good sign.
And they had pulled it. It's not a good sign, bro. There was I don't watch as much TV, so I don't know how often they play trailers during or commercial or TV
I never saw a
spots.
commercial.
Nothing, even on social media, bro. If it wasn't for you putting it on the schedule, I would not know this movie was coming out, bro. That's bad. That tells you even the studio gave up on it. Better trilogy though. Better trilogy. This one or the new Halloween one? Halloween. I'm gonna go Halloween.
I'm gonna go Halloween. Even though
Halloween is plagued with issues. At least all 3 tried something different, and it gave you different elements, not just one character just running away from the same motherfuckers and then for nothing. Because at the end, what happens at the end, bro, in this movie? She's trying to romance the main. I don't want to, in case someone wants to watch it, I don't want to spoil the exact ending, but it ended flat. Ended flat. Adam says, yeah, that security guard wasn't very good. Nah, he was the shits. JR says, I would go back to the first film. Focus on the actual killers and show them start their spree. This way it keeps it fresh and more of the audience seeing the actual beginning, as opposed to doing the flashbacks back and forth when they're children, I'm assuming. Yeah. This would have them traveling from town to town, alternating the environment. But that's the whole thing with this movie, though. It's about Venus. That's the whole point.
That's the other part is that the OG made you feel like they stopped there, they got in the car, and now they're just going to next town, like
the next
they are
place.
saying. Which is what with my idea.
Oh, okay.
There's always developments going up, so they just keep going to different. They keep moving around, but they go to areas where new people are starting to move in, but there isn't a lot of people giving them that. But it's kind of combines what JR said.
Yeah. Alternating the environment. This way, the continuity would feel better and not one place. Yeah, we agree.
Yeah.
but the faces of the killers never shown. Boom.
It's literally,
Like-
it is what killed this movie.
Yeah, God.
It's
dang,
the
bro.
series. The series.
Once
I said
they
unmasking
humanized the characters. I didn't like that. I don't know.
Yeah, you're
but-
supposed
okay,
to
so
feel
I'm-
sorry for them, because Shelley was a bit of an outcast, and oh my god, and when I was rewatching it and when she squeezed the mouse, I'm like, I forgot. Rick probably hated
that was the
scene
second one,
too.
right?
Yeah,
because they
in the
didn't show
second
it in
one.
the first one. Yeah,
In the second one, they showed but
well, they had
yeah,
they killed a mouse, they killed a boar. I don't think they killed any animal in this one, did they?
yeah.
Another concept I would try to attempt somehow would be, again, I'm gonna stick to my project's idea, some rundown complex. But imagine doing something like this during like a hurricane where everyone's evacuated, everyone's gone, let's say, or even a house. It don't gotta be. It don't gotta be a complex. Maybe it's a house, the whole town evacuated, but one family's down. The stubborn people.
Yes.
I'm staying here. Now you got killers breaking in.
You created
and
the
you-
isolation again.
That's why, because you kept bringing in isolation, and you're
You need
right. That's
isolation.
what drives the story and the tension. You need that isolation. How else can you isolate people? Nature. So something to that degree. I mean, I'm not a screenwriter, so Gr, you come up with something.
All right. Well, before we wrap up, another quick question for you.
Go for it. So we're doing good. We got some time.
What do you like? All right, at this point, because JR brought up the recent Halloween trilogy, we saw what they tried to do with The Exorcist. Thankfully, once they realized that first one flopped, I still haven't seen it. I know what they had done to Reagan's
The
mom.
Exorcist?
The Exorcist.
Which one are you
It
talking
was
about?
supposed to be Exorcist Believer.
Oh,
That was supposed to be a trilogy. I didn't see it.
Did-
I refused to see it because
I saw
yeah.
it. You didn't see it?
No, because
Yeah. It was it bombed so bad they
the
yanked it,
trilogy's done.
Yep.
And because I think what was it? They took out Reagan's mom's eyes or something like that. Did something happen to Reagan's mom?
Mhm.
Once I heard about that, I'm like, how the fuck are you gonna
fucked-
do that to
yeah,
your?
They fucked with the legacy character.
And out of all people, her, like that's what you're gonna do to her? Like, oh my god. So I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. And then you have this one that.
But you know what they did? They had Reagan, right? Reagan. Oh, how can we make this better than the first original classic Exorcist film? Let's make two people possessed. Like,
Yes,
oh
yeah.
god, so lazy. I'm sorry, God.
But and then now we have this trilogy that just finished. I mean, do you think at this point they should just stop with the whole, trilogies, either remakes, requels, reboots,
See,
because
you need the right property for it. For example, The Strangers doesn't have enough meat on its bones to
Never
warrant
did.
a trilogy because
Which
it's
is
a one
why-
and done film. It's all about strangers committing random acts of violence. Because why? Because they can. They're sick
because
people.
you were home.
Because you were
were
home. That's
home.
it. That's all you need. They fucked that up by trying to introduce logic behind who these people are. I don't care to know who they are. Put it that way. Yeah, and The Exorcist is another movie. How can you make a trilogy out of The Exorcist? Like, this is why I love.
Already.
This is why. Yeah, I know. We have. Oh, but yeah, yes, right. They had 3 of those. Yeah, you're.
You're right, and
But-
they already did it, and people hated the
But
heretic.
it wasn't meant to be it was
No.
3 different people doing 3 different movies. That's it. It wasn't meant to be a continuous story is my point, right? Like you you can't do that. And I don't know why they bothered doing that shit, bro. I don't know, man. You're right. That's a good question. The Strangers does not warrant that. I don't think that's why, like, Evil Dead, for example, as a trilogy is great because it starts off with Ash, and it's a complete horror film, nightmare fuel, bro, traumatizing as a child. The second movie adds levity. It's comical, but still, very cinematic, very well made, very memorable. It introduces zany characters on top of everything else. And then the third movie goes completely what's that guy? Who's that? Who's that guy who does Sinbad? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Sinbad.
The guy who does all the stop motion animation, that director. Alright, anyway. They went completely over the top and cartoony with the third film, Army of Darkness. There's 3 different movies, 3 different styles, 3 different tones, all completely different, all telling the same story within the same universe. That's how it's done. If you're gonna go that route, and if you want to keep it serious and do like what Halloween did, you can't introduce a third character in a movie that takes up 75% of the screen time over your main character. And just for that character just to fizzle out and get taken out, meaning all that screen time he hogged up was for nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, so
Right,
it's hard. I don't know.
I was trying to look up something as far as trilogies that had came out.
I'm gonna
So-
look up this director. I feel bad.
it's
He's
fun- I didn't realize that the Reanimator, by the way, if you have not gotten your ticket to Reanimator playing at Horror Fiend Drive-In Theater, tickets are still available. But that was part of a trilogy. I didn't know that. It was Reanimator, Bride of the Reanimator, and Beyond
yeah,
Reanimator.
you know what's funny? I've never seen any of them. Only the first one. I've never seen a sequel.
Oh, I saw them.
How many times do you pass by Amazon Prime or Hulu, Peacock, Screenbox, Shudder, whatever you use, Paramount Plus? When do you ever see those sequels streaming? I never do. I have everything. I have not everything, almost every
I saw
single
them when they
streaming-
came out.
Yes, I know. I know.
was saying, oh,
I was too young. I heard of them.
all right.
I
Yeah, no,
just-
I saw them in.
No, I never rented them. If I was gonna watch those, I had to rent them physically out of a video store.
Yeah, it's VHS.
Now, as an adult, I never see them streaming anywhere. I could be wrong. If someone knows, let me know. But I
Well,
want to
again,
see them.
so
yeah,
yeah,
especially
just because
considering
you have-
that.
because other trilogies that because the thing is that, like, and the thing is, some of these trilogies, all trilogies they can connect or they can have the same character. So you had the Hannibal Lecter trilogy, which was the Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, and Red Dragon. Zombies Firefly trilogy, the Thousand Corpses, the Devil's Rejects, and Three from Hell.
Yeah,
You see
yeah,
what I'm-
yeah, yeah.
And which
Different. Yep.
it's all you just said that before. Is like, you can, if you're gonna do it, make them different. Hold on, my computer, I should have put it. Insidious, I thought there was more. They put in this as
No,
a
that's
trilogy.
beyond a trilogy, bro. That's
Yeah,
beyond.
that's
a
what I
trilogy.
thought. You have the new Fear Street, which I have to watch. I know you told me you've seen.
Oh, I seen him. I seen all of them, man.
Oh, listen, the X trilogy, which I finally saw Maxine. I was very disappointed in Maxine.
Yes. Oh,
That killed me.
Maxine. Yeah.
We'll be completing the on Horror Italiano. We'll completing the Gates of Hell trilogy. We did the Three Mothers trilogy. You see how the trilogies all can sometimes work. They all don't always have to interconnect. All of them are separate stories with the same connecting thing.
Yeah, you're
To
right.
take The Strangers, as you said earlier, and take a movie, as I said before that, with a very limited script and turn it into 3 movies. It's just I right now,
Look.
after this one, I'm kind of
Look
good
at
at
it
the
this way.
trilogies.
It's not, to me, honestly, I don't consider this new wave of Strangers movie like a trilogy. It's one movie cut into 3 films. That's it.
Which, when you said earlier that the original thought was to release it, there is still the plan on releasing it as the full movie.
Not anymore. I could guarantee
I don't think they're
you.
gonna do that. I mean,
This movie
it
flopped.
didn't
The whole
even-
series flopped. No one likes it.
it didn't even hit the top 5.
Dude,
Like,
even
when
the
it
studio
released,
gave
it
up on
was
it.
just,
They're like, we're not gonna
uh,
promote this shit.
All right.
And that sucks. That sucks because the original, to me, I love the original because of everything we had already stated. Nothing like it. They didn't try and do too much. They knew what they had to work with, and they just took that simple concept and made it as strong as possible. And
Well,
that's
and
all
I-
you need sometimes.
And I apologize if you said it, but like, so how do you feel about, like, should they continue with the whole doing threequels?
No,
trilogies?
no.
You're good. You're
Listen,
getting it right now too, right?
Unless you're like a big
new one.
sci-fi or for example, leave the trilogies to Lord of the Rings, to Star Wars. If you're gonna do a trilogy, do like we mentioned earlier, right? With Sam Raimi did. You mentioned it too. Rob Zombie, House of a Thousand Corpses, The Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell. Whether to me, the second one's the strongest of the 3 by far. But they're 3 completely different movies. It's the
and
same
they're all
characters,
good.
and you took these characters and you went on a journey with them. You know, some they went from one cartoony characters to more grounded, like grungy, dirty characters, and then more like action, fantastical characters in the third film, and
Well, and
that's
it's
it.
weird because this one, even though there's others after it, they also put they did put the Evil Dead one, but they have Romero's Dead trilogy. But
Yes.
they count that. So Night of the Living Dead, Dawn, and Day.
It's not, again, it's within the same universe, within the same zombie apocalypse, just at different points in time. Romero used the 60s to talk about racism and shit like that, segregation. The third film, consumerism. Second film, sorry, consumerism. And the third film, war. So there you go. Whatever was going on during that time when Romero made those films, he integrated that into his movies. But it's still the zombie apocalypse. It's still the same world, just different decades. Again, you don't have to have just one story tagging up all the screen time. You can't. The Strangers did not warrant a trilogy.
Did not
And the studios
whatsoever.
shot themselves. They shot themselves in the foot. They could have took this 3 movies, honestly, bro, and made one.
Yeah, with a whole
Just
lot.
tell the
removing a whole lot
story
exposition.
of Maya getting somehow forcefully integrated into the Strangers camp.
Strangers. Yeah.
That's it. If you would have told that story and told it well, it would have been more of a success, I guarantee you.
All right, well, before you take us home, next week we are not going to the movies. We're going to be doing it'll be a series, I guess, if you want to call that. We're going to be discussing horror movies in those decades. We're kicking it off with the 60s horror. I'm kind of looking forward to that one because some of
Joe's
y'all,
the 60s guy, yeah.
some of y'all need to check out some of the older movies. I'm gonna go over, lists with my brothers because I know that I'm gonna have stuff that they might not mention. But join us next episode. Again, if you love some 60s horror movies, we're gonna be discussing them all. There's not gonna be some lists, it's just gonna be a discussion. All of us will just bring up movies that we love, introduce, hopefully get you guys to watch something new. Same thing with once we're all talking, maybe get one of, eat with the co-hosts to watch something new. But yes, we're going to be starting a new series. Make sure to join us next week. And with that, my beer brother, a quick salute.
Salute. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Here's a sip for all of you.
And take us home, my brother.
With that being said, stay good, stay healthy, stay warm, but most of all, stay scared.